We do want to bring in Rachel Fiset now, who's been digging through these charges. And Rachel, how did they come to these charges with both the armor and actor Alec Baldwin?
I think they closely examined all of the evidence they had over the last 14 months. They looked at all of the evidence the investigators for OSHA, the workplace safety investigators did in New Mexico, and they came to these charges, I think, based on who they charged, being Ms. Hutchins and Mr. Baldwin and David Hall, who pled. So they've charged 3 separate people with these crimes. And I think they were very focused specifically on the handling of the weapon.
Talk about, Rachel, the difference between negligence versus something that could have been intentional, how that will play out with prosecutors, with the jury, and with an ultimate potential sentence.
So negligence is meaning nothing was intentional. So they did not do this intentionally. And that's an important piece because now the prosecutors don't have to show that Alec Baldwin intentionally fired the gun to kill Ms. Hutchins. But what they will show is that they were grossly negligent in the way they acted. And that's their burden now. So they have to show criminal negligence, meaning basically they knew they were handling a deadly weapon and they did not use the standard of care where it would be cautious, where you would be cautious to handle such a weapon.
It seems like this is potentially a hard case, though, for prosecutors because actual bullets are banned from sets. You know, actor Alec Baldwin has said he didn't think he pulled the trigger, whether he, did or not. Every legal expert and law enforcement person has said he had to have pulled the trigger. But do we get muddled here because of some of these, precedents on sets where you're not supposed to have bullets? Couldn't he just say, well, there's no way I would have known that there was something in the chamber?
To be honest, I think Alec Baldwin has some pretty strong defenses to these charges. He was handed a gun that he was told didn't have live bullets, and that's going to be where he started. Listen, I'm relying on what I'm told. I didn't believe there were live bullets on the set. Now, they may have evidence that he knew there were live bullets because there was pretty strong evidence that things were going haywire on this set, but he's going to say those types of things. I'm relying on my assistant director to tell me whether there's live bullets in the gun. And he's going to point his finger at the armorer whose job it was to also check whether there were live bullets in the gun. And she's going to say, I thought I loaded it with a dummy round and somebody tricked me or something happened in the meantime that put live bullets in this gun where they were not supposed to be. So I think, to be honest, both of these people have strong defenses because she's also relying on the people in charge of safety on the set. But the prosecutor will, they're making this case. So this is going to be incredibly interesting.
Rachel, just based on your legal expertise and your background, right? This has been widely reported. It was dominated the news, dominated the headlines. People were investigating it. What do you think prosecutors know that we don't know that they're using as evidence and building their case? I mean, they took a long time to build this case, to bring these charges. Do you think there's more going on behind the scenes that we don't know about as the public?
They had been pretty upfront, I think, with what they had. They had done a giant data dump earlier in the year, a few months ago. They were waiting on some cell phone records. There may be some telling things on the cell phones that would go to the knowledge that either Alec Baldwin or the armorer knew there were live bullets on the set and they were still not exercising the standard of care. They were still not being cautious with the guns in the way that they should have been. They weren't double checking what was going on. Maybe Alec Baldwin refused to go to gun training, or maybe he was playing fast and loose in other scenes prior to this one and knew that this could happen. Those are the kinds of evidence that will be very bad for him and that we may not currently know.
That would be interesting. I know a lot of producers in Hollywood, were in an outrage after this happened, saying there does need to be improvements to safety conditions, that yes, there are some of these protections in place, but it's not enough. How do you think this case could potentially impact the industry?
Well, this is an incredibly strong message. You have a major star being charged with manslaughter in a shooting that no one thinks he intentionally did. This is a strong message. Everybody needs the specific training when they are handling weapons. They will double check. I think this hits home, and that both the actors and directors and producers should be paying attention here, that they need to make safety a first priority.
Well, especially here in Southern California, where the entertainment industry is the lifeblood and the economy here. Rachel Fiset, thank you so much for your expertise, your insight. We will continue to update this story throughout the morning, and we'll be right back.